My parents' gift taught me a lesson, but not the one they intended. I was 16 when my parents decided to teach me about the real world in the cruelest way possible. Money had been tight that year, Dad's hours got cut, Mom took on a second job. I heard the whispered arguments about bills, saw the generic brands replacing name brands in our pantry. I understood, or thought I did. For months I'd been eyeing the new Sate, but I never actually asked for it. I knew better. Instead, I focused on school, picked up extra chores without being asked, even started mowing lawns in the neighborhood for pocket money. Christmas morning came with lowered expectations. My younger sister Emma, 12, was still bouncing with excitement, but I'd prepared myself for socks and maybe a used book. The small gifts were exactly that, practical items, a couple of t-shirts, school supplies. I was genuinely grateful, especially knowing our situation. Then Dad smiled mysteriously. "Woody, here's one more for you, Jason." He pulled out a large box from behind the tree, perfectly sized and shaped like a said box. My heart stopped. The wrapping paper even had the store logo where they sold gaming systems. "Is this?" I couldn't finish the sentence, afraid to hope. "Open it," Mom urged, filming with her phone. My hands shook as I carefully removed the wrapping paper. It was indeed a said box, the actual official box. I looked up at my parents in disbelief, tears forming. "You guys didn't have to. This is too much. Thank you so much." When I opened the box, there was no console. Instead, I found a printed job application for the local grocery store and a note that read, "Want nice things, work for them." The camera caught my face falling. My parents laughed. "That's going on Facebook," Mom chuckled. "The look on your face." I forced a smile, trying to show I got the joke. Then Emma opened her gift, a brand new iPhone, the model I'd been saving for myself for months. "Emma needs it for safety," Dad explained, seeing my expression. "You understand, right? You are older." I did understand finally. Not about responsibility or adulthood, but about my place in our family. That night, I filled out the job application. 6 months later, I had saved enough for both a SED and a decent laptop for school. A year after that, I had enough to move into a small apartment with roommates. When I started community college, I never told my parents how deeply their lesson cut me. Instead, I showed them I worked through college, graduated debt-free, and built a life where I never had to depend on anyone's idea of a gift again. Last Christmas, my parents hinted about moving in with me when they retire. Their finances never recovered. I sent them job applications wrapped in said boxes. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But sometimes I think about how different our relationship might be if they had simply been honest instead of turning my hopes into a punchline. The lesson I learned wasn't about working hard. It was about who deserves my trust.